See if we can't find the stream. Shouldn't be too far away. It's currently loading onto the channel as I speak. Game audio is working, party audio is working, the stream's up, the chat's up, we're all good to go. That is absolutely fantastic. Hello everyone and welcome to round 9 of the PlayStation Americas series here on Race Spec Esports. I'm LaneEveringham, your commentator for this event. This time we're racing at Circuit of the Americas for the United States Grand Prix. Constructed in 2012 and designed by track-making Supremo Herman Tilke, COTA is a 3.43-mile, 20-turn racetrack built to rekindle the relationship between USA and Formula One after the disastrous Grand Prix in Indianapolis in 2005. The layout features an interesting and wide variety of sections. There's a high-speed SS section in the first sector, long straights and heavy braking zones in the second, tight hairpins coupled with fast sweepers in the third. As a result, a wide variety of car setup could be used for this event. High downforce will make the car faster in the first and third sectors, more ideal for qualifying, whereas a low downforce setup will help drivers find time in the middle sector and help with overtaking during the race. Speaking of which, the main overtaking spots to keep an eye out for are with the help of DRS, heading up the main straight into turn 1 and heading down the back straight into turn 12. We may see some passing as well into the hairpins of turn 11 and turn 15. Now, before we focus on qualifying, there is a bit of news to go through first from last week's race at Silverstone. There were 2 incident reports, one involving Black Bowler with a penalty removal, which was successfully done in the sprint race. That would move him from P7 to P4 in the final results for the sprint. There was also another incident report involving Saucy in an attempt to remove a penalty. Unfortunately for him, the penalty was not removed. In the Drivers' Championship, Nico is leading the way on 171 points. P2 is Mighty Wombat on 165. Only 6 points separating the top 2 in the Drivers' Championship. JBH isn't too far behind on 150. He is 15 points behind Mighty Wombat and 21 behind Nico, still very much in the championship fight. Axis, he's a little bit behind JBH on 138. Rounding out the top 5, we have SC Collider on 100 points. P6 is KD, 1997 on 99, followed by Blockman, the man on screen, on 76. Rafa on 56, Hash on 52, and rounding out the top 10, we have Captain Schmeg on 46 points. In the Constructors, McLaren are leading on 264 points. Mercedes-Benz in second on 189. It's quite a big gap between the top 2 in the Constructors. P3 is AlphaTauri on 171, followed by Aston Martin on 166. Then Alpine on 134, Red Bull Racing on 120, Ferrari on 109, Williams on 102, Haas on 88, and Alfa Romeo at the bottom of the order on 31 points. But that's pretty much it in terms of news. We'll now focus on this qualifying session. We've got a fair few drivers setting their first flying laps. Still got a few cars on out laps getting ready to set their first flying laps. Blockman appears to be the first car getting ready to complete a flying lap, making his way through the final sector now, up towards the hairpin of turn 15. I mentioned in the intro, this is an area of the racetrack where we may see some overtaking. It's thanks to the racing line that you take into the corner. You leave a very wide gap on the inside of the left-hander, because naturally you want to try and open the corner up as much as possible. So you might see drivers dive bomb down the inside to try and make moves stick. Around the final corner goes Blockman, up towards the line, and the benchmark is a 1 minute 34.294. We'll see how the other drivers fare relative to that time. Rebellion making his way around the turn 11 hairpin, another of one of the overtaking spots on the circuit, especially if a driver can get a nice run out of the S's section heading down the hill towards turn 11. Definitely becomes an overtaking spot. Motion God P2 with a 35.9, currently 1.7 seconds off the pace. Saucy jumps up to pole position with a 34.123, beating Blockman by just under 0.2 of a second. And Aston Martin coming to a stop. That must be Guitar Hero. That is at the entry to the hairpin as Mighty Wombat jumps up to pole position. That's taken by KD. A 1 minute 33.317 beats a 1 minute 33.344. So very tight between the top two at the moment in qualifying. Black's making his way through the final sector. Apparently purple according to the minimap, but I do believe that's a glitch. Black's making his way around the triple right-hander. Turn 16, 17 and 18. It's absolutely flat out during qualifying. During the race, though, you can take it flat. You do have to be very careful, though. The car can step out on you and you can spin. Black's crosses the line, jumps up to P5 with a 1 minute 34.167. Currently 8.5 tenths off pole position. Underwood has invalidated this lap. Hash has invalidated his. Shizden's on a flying lap, making his way through the first sector, exiting turn 6, crossing the first sector split, through turn 7, then climbing up a small hill around turn 8 and into the incredibly tricky turn 9. You have to be very careful on the accelerator exiting the left-hander. The car gets very unstable, so if you get too greedy with the throttle, the car can spin out. Exiting the hairpin of turn 11, heading down the long back straightaway with the sun literally in your eyes. This has been a thing for some time now, with the official time during qualifying here at COTA, that the sun is directly in your eyes, heading down towards turn 12, and more noticeably, heading into the final corner, turn 20. Around the hairpin of turn 15, second gear, modulating the throttle a lot around that hairpin. And flat out around the triple right-hander, sixth gear up to seventh. And up to the penultimate turn, turn 19. One of the more tricky, inconspicuous corners on the circuit, thanks to a crest, a small crest, just before the corner, which actually makes the apex blind. You can't actually see it. Now, if you have a racing line, that isn't a problem. But if you do not have a racing line, you kind of have to guess where the corner is, and that's not fun to do at all. JBH getting ready. Axis getting ready to set his first flying lap. Might ride on board with the Aston Martin driver. Give you a guided tour of this 3.4 mile racetrack. A very interesting way to take the final corner as he heads down the main straightaway, then climbing up the massive hill towards the left-hand hairpin of turn 1. Hard on the brakes, brings it down to third gear, clips the apex nicely, short shifts up to fourth gear, down the hill, around the right-hander of turn 2, and now into the S's section. Turns 3, 4, into turn 5, missing the apex there, round turn 6, then up towards turn 7. Down to fifth gear, back on the accelerator as he heads around turn 8, brings it down to fourth, short shifts to fifth as he goes through the very tricky turn 9. Around turn 10, and down the hill towards the hairpin of turn 11. Hard on the brakes just before the 50 board. Exit as well, plenty of wheel spin as he opens DRS down the back straightaway, heading towards turn 12. It's a big braking zone here, braking more than likely at the 100 meter board. Let's see. Yep, right at the 100 meter board. Down to third gear, missing the apex by a little bit. You can cut quite a lot at turn 12. Around turn 13 and turn 14, the two right-handers, and around the incredibly tight hairpin of turn 15. Third gear, short shifting up to fourth as he makes his way into the triple right-hander. Turn 16, 17, and turn 18. Absolutely flat out. Definitely won't be doing that in the race. Around turn 19, sun is directly in your eyes, heading into the final corner, turn 20. It was a tidy lap from Axis. He'll set a 33.790. Goes third quickest with that time. Hello Tinsel and hello ACW in the chat as well. Nice to see you're both here watching along. As SC Collider comes to the end of a flying lap. That is a 34.3. Goes P9 with that lap. Rebellion making his way through the final sector. Fourth gear down to third gear. Will he short shift? Doesn't bother short shifting, uses all of third gear at the exit there. Down to second gear, nice and steady on the accelerator, don't want to be too greedy. And I've just noticed he's not using any battery, he's not on a proper flying lap. He's actually turned it off. So you'll either duck back into pit lane. Oh, what's going on here? Rebellion and somebody else coming very close together. Is that KD? It is KD. He's got an invalidated lap next to his name. It's no longer invalidated. So when he invalidated his run, he didn't do it through the final 2 corners. I'm curious, why did Rebellion pull alongside KD? Maybe KD impeded Rebellion's flying lap. And that was just a little bit of payback to say, hey mate, watch your mirrors please. Generally speaking, when you see a car behind you, even if they're on an outlap, you generally want to try and pull off to the side and let people through. You know, the engineer in this game doesn't help you at all. It doesn't say if a driver's on an in-lap or if a driver's on an outlap. So you have to do all the hard work. So when you see a car behind you, yeah, just try and pull off to the side, off the racing line, let them through. Don't try and impede them. Alright, Mighty Wombat making his way around turn 12, second gear. Short shifting up to third, he'll cross the middle sector split line. He's way down, he's not on a proper flying lap. KD, meanwhile, he's actually lost time to the middle sector, but he's still up overall as he makes his way into the tight left-hand hairpin of turn 15. Down to third gear, nice and gently on the accelerator, avoiding those tall yellow sausage curbs on the outside that unsettle the car. Out of turn 18, heading towards turn 19, fifth gear, clipping the apex, using a healthy amount of curb on the exit, and around turn 20, third gear, fourth gear, crossing the line. It's a 33.286. He actually lost time again in the final sector, but he managed to improve just a little bit. Nico doesn't appear to be on a flying lap, down by 12 seconds to the first sector. Blockman to the middle sector. He's down a lot as well, so he's not on a flying lap. Blacks appears to have just started one. Around the hairpin of turn 1. Down the hill towards turn 2. Fourth gear, fifth gear, sixth gear. Absolutely flat out through the right-hander. And now into the S's. Turns 3, 4, into 5. Then there's double apex right-hander of turn 6. This completes the first sector, and Blacks is up by 48 thousandths of a second. Out of turn 8 and heading around turn 9, you can see the AlphaTauri is pretty stable. There was no hint of oversteer, no wheel spin as well from what I could tell. Now into the hairpin of turn 11. Second gear, short shifting up to third, trying to find a little bit of traction on the exit of the left-hander. He'll open DRS down the back straightaway, heading towards turn 12. Eighth gear, what kind of peak speed will we see here? Creeping up towards 200 miles an hour. Don't quite reach it. 198 miles an hour was the peak speed there. Middle sector split says he's up still by only 68,000. So I think he only found 100th in that middle sector. Can he find any more time here in the final sector? Currently sitting P8 with a 34.1. If he can find a few extra tens, he might be able to jump up into the top 5. Oh no! He's actually back. He almost came to a dead stop there. Couldn't quite tell from the camera angle, but he might have lost control in the middle of that long sweeper. Stamped on the brakes to stop the car from spinning out. That would be my guess of what happened there. I didn't get a great look at that, but that would be my guess. He lost control in the middle of the corner, stamped on the brakes to straighten the car out, and essentially ruined his flying lap. Black Baller has an invalidated lap at the moment. Rapper's down by a lot. Chisn't on a flying lap. Rebellion making his way up towards the middle sector split. Exiting turn 12 in fourth gear. He does a 1 minute 3.6 to the middle sector. How will he fare here in the final? Making his way up towards the hairpin. Turn 15, second gear. Does he short shift? No, uses all of second on the exit there, but our Alpine looked very stable at the exit of turn 15. Similar story through the triple right-hander. The car looked very steady. Looks very much under control. Into the final corner, turn 20, third gear. Back on the accelerator, up towards the line. It's a 34.593. P11 just outside of the top 10 and 2 places behind his teammate Collider. Underwood getting ready to set the flying lap. He's making his way through the final sector, trying to get his tyres nice and warm ready for his final run. Now, considering the time left on the clock, he does have enough time. If he makes a mistake on the flying lap, he can do another one. But he wants to do it here and now while the tyres are nice and fresh. Second gear, nice and steady around the final corner, then slamming on the accelerator at the exit, trying to maximise the top speed, heading up the hill into turn 1. Top speed we'll see 183 miles an hour as he gets onto the brakes there for the opening left-hander. Around turn 2, up towards the S's now. Turns 3, 4, into 5, and around turn 6. The car looks pretty good. Does the time reflect that? Not quite. Oh, and he invalidates at turn 7, cutting far too much of the left-hander, and the game has given him a warning. So that will end this flying lap, but as I mentioned before, he has enough time left on the clock to try and set another flying lap. So he'll back the car off, I would think. Save up a bit of battery, but that's not what he's doing. It looks like he's still pushing. Not totally sure why. You might as well switch off the battery, cool off the tyres a little bit, and have another go. Or he's just satisfied with the P4 he's got right now. Middle sector says he's down by a second. Yeah, I'm not sure what his game plan is. Because he's not going to have enough time to set another lap. Now he's starting to back off. Yeah, strange. Two McLarens getting ready. Axis getting ready as well. He's making his way around turn 12. Nico making his way through the first sector. Blockman making his way through the middle sector. JBH has just completed a flying lap. 34.0. It's P7 for the Mercedes driver, who is third in the championship. Morning, Prezzo. Nice to see you watching along. Saucy getting ready to set what will be his final run in qualifying. Currently P8 with a 34.1. All the batteries saved up, ready for this run. Thank goodness he didn't run any wider there at the penultimate turn. He might have had a warning right there. If you get a warning at the penultimate turn, you get an invalidated lap and an invalidated next lap. So you do have to be careful. Heading up towards turn 1, 183 miles an hour. There's a peak speed heading into the braking zone. Heading down the hill and around turn 2. Up towards the S's now, turns 3, 4, and 5. Is it flat through 4? Yep. Then a bit of a lift through 5. Then a big lift through turn 6. And there is Shizen cutting the track. That is an Aston Martin around. It's Axis spinning. His final run is done. Oh, hello, McLaren. How do you do? And he's been disqualified from the session. He will start from the very back of this race. Look at that. Down to 18th. He was trying to point the car back in the right direction after spinning out at turn 6, and he's been disqualified. Now, one of those McLarens was a bit impeded. Must have been KD, because Wombat's just coming through turn 10, and he's passing Axis, whose AI is pulling off to the side. So KD would have been a bit distracted with the Aston Martin in front of him. Does the time reflect that? What does the clock say? He's up. He's up by almost 1.5 tenths to the middle sector. Rebellion has retired from the session as well. The best he can do is P11. Shizen has done the same. Mighty Wombat to the middle sector is down overall by 47 thousandths of a second. Needs to get a move on through this final sector. KD with one corner to go. He gets on the brakes, brings it down to third gear, back on the accelerator, loses control and ruins the lap. It could have been an improvement, but he isn't going to improve. So that's the benchmark, a 33.2. Can Wombat snag pole position away from his teammate? He'll cross the line to set a 33.3. It's not enough. He stays P2, but what about Nico, our championship leader, currently P6 with a 33.8. He needs a massive improvement here in the final sector to try and challenge KD. Can he do it? Crosses the line. No, he only improves by just under half a second to set a 1 minute 33.3. So KD should be thankful for that. Made a mistake at the final corner, threw his lap away, but no one could challenge his time. He'll start from pole position with his teammate Mighty Wombat alongside him P2. Nico, our championship leader, starts P3, followed by Blockman, Blacks, Underwood, Captain Schmeg, JBH, Saucy, and Collider rounding out the top 10. Black Baller P11, followed by Rebellion, Hash, Guitar Hero, Motion God, Rafa, Shizard, and Axis, who was disqualified at the very end of qualifying for driving the wrong way. Ouch. That's gotta hurt. You'll have a lot of work to do starting from the back. Fortunately, you can definitely make moves here at COTA. You do have a fair few overtaking opportunities. You just need the confidence to try and make them work. And you need the car speed, of course. Now, KD did inform me we should have a dry race, but as you can see, it is overcast here at Austin. Track temps have cooled off just a little bit. It will affect the cars just a smidgen. Shouldn't affect them too greatly. Now, it'll be interesting to see who starts on what tyre. Going off Pacific Tier 1 and Pacific Elite, the most commonly used tyre to start on for this race was the hard tyre. Will we see that similar trend here with the Americas Series, or are they going to be more willing to start on the medium compound tyre instead of the hard compound tyre? Let's find out, shall we? For the start of the United States Grand Prix. Alright, counter reaches 0. We'll begin the formation lap here at COTA. I can see some mediums. I can see some mediums. I can see a lot of mediums. Wow. Okay, this is quite different compared to Elite and Pacific Tier 1. The majority have chosen the medium compound tyre. KD and his teammate Mighty Wombat starting on the front row. Both of them are on the mediums. Nico and Blockman in the second row, they're both starting on the mediums as well. Blacks is the first driver to start on the hard compound tyre in P5. Then behind him, Underwood, Captain Schmeg, JBH, Saucy and Collider are all starting on the medium compound tyre. Black Baller, the first driver outside the top 10, is starting on the hard compound tyre. Rebellion and Hash, P12 and P13, they're both starting on the medium compound tyre. Guitar Hero on the hard compound tyre in 14th place. Motion God just behind him. Ooh, that lag didn't look good. He's starting on the medium tyre. Rafa and Shizant, P16 and 17, starting on the mediums. And Axis, with all the work to do, starting in 18th place on the medium compound tyre. Fair decision to start on the mediums from his point of view. He needs to get a move on while the field is nice and bunched up. That's quite understandable. Yeah, it's quite a dominant sort of cluster for the medium compound tyre. What have we got? We've got 5 drivers on the hards. That means 13 on the mediums. In races past, it's been hard dominated. But for the start of the Americas race, a lot of people on the medium compound tyre. Now we'll get rid of the tyre graphic for now. Bring it up later on. Get ourselves ready for the start of this Grand Prix. Now I'm sure the boys in orange will be pretty happy as Blacks and Underwood have come together during the formation lap. And they've both been disqualified, so they teleport back to their respective grid slots. KD getting himself ready to line up into his grid slot, lining up in pole position. Yeah, I thought he overshot that. It looked like he overshot it, and he did. His teammate lines up alongside in second. Now KD, he's on the cleaner side of the racetrack, so he should theoretically get a better start. But Mighty Wombat in P2 has the inside line heading up towards the left-hander at turn 1. So if Wombat gets a decent enough start, he can send it on his teammate and take the lead at the beginning of the opening lap. All 18 cars are lined up ready to race. We have 28 laps in front of us. and 10 red lights. And we're underway here at Austin. It's a nice start from Wombat and KD. It's a nice start from JBH in the Mercedes-Benz. He's gaining plenty of positions at the start. 3 wide at tower, contact spinning. JBH spins out. Oh dear, and tumbles down the order. Tumbles down to 14th place. He had a superb start, but got caught in between Nico and Blockman, I believe, at turn 1. And has tumbled down to 15th place. The rest of the field, though, getting through pretty unscathed through the S section. The credit where credit is due. Everyone behaving pretty well out of turn 1. Black Baller trying to attack Underwood, who was in a bit of trouble in the Ferrari, down a few positions from where he qualified. Nico on the back of Wombat. Oh, off the circuit is Collider. Oh, lagging is Guitar Hero, I believe. I saw an Aston Martin just dart all over the place. That must be Guitar Hero. Look at all these fellas bunching up. What is going on in this start? Everyone getting through the S section, but on the straightaways, they're all colliding into one another. Around turn 12. You can see Hash moving a little bit as well, thanks to the lag. Yeah, look at Guitar Hero. Yeah, that's not a great sight. That's not a great sight at all. Not good. Collider trying to go around the outside of Hash. Oh, Blacks has lost a ton of places. Down in 11th. Saw his name tumble down the order. Rebellion, Black Baller side by side. And here comes Underwood with a run. Down the inside at the final corner. Tries to attack the Alpine but can't get it done. He stays in P8. Plenty of midfield shenanigans at the start of this US Grand Prix. No one can get themselves sorted. They're all dive bombing one another. JVH trying to recover lost places as Guitar Hero leaves the session. Down the hill around turn 2. Look at this pack. Oh, spinning! That's Blacks losing control at turn 2. And there's an end plate flying off. Now, is it Blacks' end plate or is it the one... Ooh, it's not his. So it might be the driver he collided with. JBH is out of the race, crashing out. There's his car. Stationary at the exit of turn 6 and the entry of turn 7. He's our first retirement and we have a virtual safety car. Right, it will allow me to gather my thoughts a little bit because there's plenty of stuff that has been going on this opening lap. We have drivers all over the place. We had guys who had great starts. They got shafted at turn 1. We have drivers with poor starts trying to make their way back up through the field. Axis, look at that, up 8 places from where he qualified. Now inside the top 10. Rebellion up 5. Saucy up 3. Captain Schmeg up a couple. But the top 4 have not changed. Guitar Hero's rejoined the session. Hopefully his connection is a bit better now. So KD has maintained the race lead on these opening couple of laps. Wombat has not challenged him. Nico and Blockman just behind. Captain Schmeck completing the top 5. And we still have full course yellows. Oh, and we have a drive-through penalty for Rebellion in P7 for speeding during the virtual safety car. Well, it was bound to happen to somebody. Rebellion's been caught out. What a shame. I have no doubt that the Delta screwed him over. I have absolutely no doubt. This game is ridiculous when it comes to the Delta, and unfortunately for Rebellion, he will have to serve that. It's not like you can argue that penalty. Oh, he needs a safety car now to try and save his race. Needs a safety car for sure. Top 4 minding their own business. Captain Schmeg not keeping up. He's creating a gap between himself and Blockman, the car in front. Saucy P5, then Rebellion in P7. Had a superb opening couple of laps, but it's been ruined at the end of that VSC period. Here comes Rafa on the attack. Can he get by Collider? Well, he's trying. He's got no DRS, but he's got plenty of straight line speed. Won't go for a move as Guitar Hero has joined again. Hopefully his connection is a bit better than what I saw it. He was well and truly all over the place. Underwood Right on the back of Rebellion. He doesn't need to attack the Alpine. He just needs to stay behind. Oh, contact! Spinning goes both cars. And through goes Black Baller. Through goes Axis. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Two cars coming together, spinning at the apex of turn 17. And Rebellion goes into the pits. Oh no. Axis comes in as well. He has front wing damage on the Aston Martin. He's missing an end plate. Rafa, Collider battling at turn 1. The Alpine gets in front. He's into P8. No contact, you say. Both just spun at the same place. Interesting. Certainly looked like contact. No, that's quite a coincidence then, if you both spun at the same spot. Black's a 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings, getting that at turn 9. Not something you want to have early in the race, especially if we start getting safety cars. Penalties become a huge factor. Out of turn 14 and around turn 15. Getting a nice run at the exit of the hairpin and around the triple right-hander. See there, the drivers have to be very committed. Very easy to lose control. And up towards the final corner, turn 20. Wombat applying pressure to his teammate, but KD's just about holding on. DRS open down the main straightaway, up towards turn 1. Wombat is not closing in. At least by enough to attack his teammate. Nico and Blockman just following behind in P3 and P4. Down the hill around turn 2. Wombat closes in. But you can't do much through this first sector. Sort of just have to wait, sit behind your teammate. Sit behind the car in front. First overtaking opportunity after Yeses comes up at the hairpin here as Rebellion's overtaking Guitar Hero for P15. Wombat, can he get a run on KD? Doesn't look like he's using his battery though. So is KD, and KD doesn't have much to play with, down to 17%. Here comes Wombat, down the inside, dumping his battery. He has taken the lead at turn 12. Underwood overtaking Hash as well for P11 as they head around turns 13 and 14. Black's overtaking Rafa as well. So he's into P9, Rafa down to P10. Around turns 16, 17 and 18. Race leader Wombat, can he pull away from his teammate? Can he build a margin? KD still well within that 1 second range. Get DRS down the main straight as Underwood overtakes Rafa for P10. Rafa takes him back though. What's going on here? Side by side, Underwood trying to fight around the outside at turn 18. Can't get it done there. Around turn 19, gets a run, and Motion got it spun out as well at turn 18. Underwood very committed at the exit of the penultimate corner. He was able to draw alongside Rafa and retake the position. But here comes the Williams with a whole heap of straight line speed. Dives down the inside at turn 1, retakes P10. Underwood though has traction on the exit and he keeps the fight alive through turn 2. Up towards the S's now. Turns 3, 4 and 5. Oh, they're trying to get it sorted and Rafa ultimately comes out in front. Heading around turn 6. Up towards turn 7. Hash is just behind as well in P12. Going around turn 8. Up the hill and around turn 9. Underwood gets a run. A fantastic run on the exit. Oh, and Rafa shuts the door at the apex of turn 10. Around the hairpin of turn 11. Yellows are out. Motion God is out of the race. He has crashed at the entry to turn 7. And we have a safety car. We have a full course proper safety car. Oh boy. On lap 6 as well. This might benefit the medium runners. They'll be able to pit on to the hard tyre, or at least have the opportunity to pit onto the hard tyre. Will they take it? I think they will. I think even KD will. He'll risk a double stack. Wombat going in. KD coming in as well. Just checking up a little bit. Trying to stop the double stack. You can see how slowly he's going into pit lane. That's gamesmanship right there. Blockman stays out and he'll take the lead. Here's a double stack for McLaren. So KD held it just a little bit. He should be overtaken by Nico. Yeah, Nico's back in the fast lane. Black Baller, no, Captain Schmeg, sorry, has put on the soft compound tyre. Has the game screwed him over, or is that just an interesting strategic decision there from Captain Schmeg? Because I have seen that the game, you know, it's a bit funny like that. You can select a certain compound and the game just reverts to putting you on the soft compound tyre. So Captain Schmeg might have been screwed over by the game there. So we got a bit of a shuffled order. Blockman's our race leader now. Black Baller in second. Mighty Wombat on fresh tyres in P3. Followed by Collider in fourth. Then the two AlphaTauris of Blacks and Nico. Rafa P7. Then KD. Captain Schmeg P9. And rounding out the top 10 is Shizant on old tyres. Yeah, a few drivers taking advantage of this safety car period. Just taking a free pit stop. And they do have to go a little bit long on these hard tyres, but they should be able to make it. Saw drivers in Pacific Tier 1, they were able to do 20 laps on the hard tyre after starting on the tyre, so they had to deal with a full race load of fuel in the car. So I think the guys who are pitted onto the hard tyre right now, they should be able to get to the end. Be interesting to see how the other drivers fare who have not stopped, because they're now effectively a pit stop behind everybody. I just want to check what Captain Schmeg started on. Or do I want to check Race Director? I might not. There still might be a glitch in the game where if you check Race Director, it can kind of crash your game. So I won't check. Instead I'll look back in the stream. Oh, you got screwed. Saw the Delta was green and you still got a penalty, huh? I'm not surprised anymore. I'm really just not surprised. Because the nature of the game is very ridiculous. Captain Schmeg started on medium, so yeah, it's interesting that he put it onto the soft tyre. Very, very interesting. It's either he's taking a very interesting and unique strategic call, or the game screwed him over. It's either or. It was 3 seconds green, and you somehow got a drive-through from that. Wow. That's a new one. ESC ending and bang penalty. Fascinating. Yeah, no, I've never heard of that one. That's definitely a new one, man. Why are we still on this camera? Oh, yeah, you can look at all the grass and the tarmac. How beautiful. My goodness, this game is stupid. Yeah, no, that's a new one. A virtual safety car ending, and you have 3 seconds to the green, and you somehow get a drive-through. Yeah, that's a new one. That's a new one. Oh, we should be going back on the green. Yeah, there it goes. So the safety car, it's going back into pit lane. It's going back into its home in pit lane. Blockman will control the field on 7-lap-old mediums. Look, I don't quite understand why you don't pit off the medium tyre onto the hards. You're now a pit stop behind everybody. Like, for the hard runners, I kind of understand, but for the medium runners, oof. Maybe put someone in the pits. Well, from what I remember, you got it for speeding. I do remember that speeding prompt come up. I'll just have to remember to check later on. As Blockman gets going, heading up towards The final call. Yellows are out. Rebellion, I would recommend not texting to me anymore and just getting on with it. We're back under green flag racing here at Kota. Blockman's our race leader. Nico's overtaken his teammate for P5. Wombat's taken Black Baller down the inside with Sparks flying. Spinning goes Black Ball. Oh, great catch. Great catch. Awesome catch. I thought he was going to end up in the grass and potentially in the wall, but he kept it out of the grass. And he's in P7. KD right behind him. He needs to be careful on these hard tyres. In fact, everyone on the hard tyre needs to be careful because they need to get the tyres up to temperature. There is Captain Schmeg just behind. And according to the readout on the dash, their tyres are currently minus 45 degrees. Very accurate. I love it. But the tyres are currently colder than Antarctica right now. Very good. Down the back straightaway, heading towards turn 12. Captain Schmeg, he now has an opportunity to really make some interesting moves. He's on a much grippier tyre. Able to push. Saltsy trying to pass his teammate as well. Yeah, Shizen just lets him go. You can see Captain Schmeg trying to fight around the outside. Hello, KD. Spinning! Contact! Off the road goes KD and Captain Schmeg. They're both off at the same corner. KD flick spins back in the right direction. No damage from what I can see on the McLaren either, but there's definitely damage on Captain Schmeg's car. A missing end plate on the left-hand side. Oh, dearie me. Captain Schmeg will have to pit to get that fixed. He'll now be able to move on to the hard tyre, but he's going to be a long way behind the next car. KD, meanwhile, there was a third car involved in that. Didn't get a great look at who it was, though, but there was definitely a third car in all of that. The two drivers really shafted out from that. It's Captain Schmeg and KD. Guitar Hero overtaking Underwood. They're side by side through turn 2. Underwood gets the nose in front. Guitar Hero can't do much about that. Underwood into P11. Landing at the top 10 places is Axis, still trying to recover after what happened during qualifying. Car in front of him, Shizant, is on older tyres, so he should be able to get by pretty easily. Down the hill around turn 2 up towards turn 10, I should say, up towards turn 11. Axis can get a nice tidy run. No wheel spin. Oh, a bit of wheel spin, never mind. Yeah, just after the corner, the back end stepped away, and here comes Saucy on Black Baller. Down the inside he goes and into P7. His next target will be Rafa in the Williams, who we've seen has some really good straight line speed. Like, insanely good straight line speed. Mighty Wombat, 4/10 behind Blockman. Those hard compound tyres, they have pace. Blockman on those old mediums, he doesn't have pace as Axis overtakes Shizant for P9. Onto the main straightaway. It's now lap 11 of 28. DRS is now enabled, and Blacks has spun. He has left the session as well. His Ghost is rejoining down in 15th. Interesting. Shizant under attack from Underwood. Down the inside goes the Ferrari. Shizant can't fight back. Not on those old tyres. He's down to P10. Now Axis, he has to try and find a way by Black Baller as Shizant gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Axis has got slightly fresher tyres, so he's got pace. Similar to Shizant, he should get by pretty easily. Nice run out of 9. Nice run through 10. Up towards turn 11. Now Black Baller, he's too... Oh, yellows are out. It's KD again. Spinning at the top of turn 7 as Blacks has rejoined the session. KD's down to 15th place. Around turn 13 and around turn 14. Wombat keeping this pressure up. Trying to make Blockman create a mistake. Blockman's holding firm in the race lead. Axis in front of Black Baller now in P7. The Mercedes driver under a fair bit of pressure from Underwood behind him. Exiting turn 18. heading towards turn 19. Yellows are out again. It's Rebellion spinning in the middle of the triple right-hander. Collider, Nico changing places. Nico getting by Collider down the main straight. He's into P3. Rafa under attack. Yellows are out. It's blacks at turn 18. Underwood not close enough to attack the Mercedes here at turn 1. Down the hill and through turn 2. Closing in bit by bit. You can't attack through this S section. You have to stay behind. See how much Underwood backed off there to avoid hitting the back of the Mercedes. Around turn 7, around turn 8. And into the left-hander of turn 9. And look at the traction and the speed. Underwood overtakes at turn 10. You don't see that too often. The black baller, he'll get DRS, I believe. Let's find out. Yeah, but look at the speed. Underwood's driven away. He has disappeared. 7/10 in front of the black baller. Saucy, Rafa side by side at turn 12. Heading up towards turn 13. Saucy has the inside line. Rafa on the outside trying to keep the fight alive. Oh, and he runs wide and Axis moves through into P6. Rafa down to 7th. And now Underwood joins the fight. Around turn 16. Around turn 17. Then 18. Rafa losing time on the old tyre. Running wide as well. Underwood gets underneath him and passes the Williams into P7. Rafa making a mistake at turn 18. Compromised his line at turn 19. He ran wide and Underwood was able to slip through into 7th. Underwood and Axis well and truly moving their way up through the field. They're now called Saucy. There's a fair old gap between Saucy and the next car. 5.9 seconds to Collider in P4. Trying to keep up with Nico in P3. Wombat still behind Blockman. Just keeping the pressure up. Probably realizing he doesn't need to battle right now. He's a pit stop ahead of Blockman. He's holding all the cards right now. The only thing that can really save Blockman, save his chances of winning this race, is another safety car. Blacks has rejoined the session. Around turn 12 and up towards 13. See Wombat just prodding behind. Not doing anything at this stage. Here comes Axis down the inside of turn 12. Gets in front of Saucy. Saucy doesn't fight. But on the exit though, he's got a nice run. Trying to fight around the long way here at turn 13. We've got battles behind as well. Saucy now has the inside line at turn 15. Sends it in deep. Parks the car on the apex. Axis tries to do the over-under. Oh, almost contact. Oh, Saucy. Gee whiz. He lost control of the car, and if he didn't save it, he and Axis would have collided. But Saucy somehow managed to catch that thing and stay out of Axis, basically. Down the main straightaway, up towards turn 1. Saucy not close enough to attack Axis. Oh, deep on the brakes goes Underwood. He misses the apex at turn 1. He was very committed on the brakes there. Rafa and Black Ball are battling for position. Hash and Guitar Hero as well. Through turn 2. Hash with the inside line at turn 2. Guitar Hero trying to fight. No, he eventually gives in. It's almost impossible to fight through the S section. You need to be very respectful with the driver you're battling through there. Because if you're not, you collide and you spin out. Into turn 11. Lead change. Blockman down to P2. Mighty Wombat has retaken the lead. Up towards turn 13. Blockman on those old tyres, he can't keep up with Wombat. There's no way. He needs to pit very soon. Or keep praying for a safety car. Guitar Hero has overtaken Hash for P10. Around turn 15. Axis trying to pull away from Saucy here. Gap sits at 8/10. 8.5 tenths, 9 tenths. Axis has got pace. And here comes Blockman into pit lane. Rafa's retired from the session. Oh, do we have a safety car? We do! There is the lucky safety car that Blockman needed. Safety car has been deployed. Oh my goodness, Rafa has crashed out at the exit of turn 15. Oh my goodness me. Drivers are coming in, putting on new sets of tyres. All of those on the hard compound can now move on to the mediums, and they should be able to go to the end from here. Oh my goodness. Blockman needed a lucky break, and he got it. Right on cue as well. How about that? So Blockman, he's suddenly looking very interesting. P6, fresh tyres, and he's got pretty good pace, I'd say. He's got pretty good pace. He's got to overtake this lot though. And they're not easy customers to pass. Underwood, Saucy, Axis, Nico, and race leader Wombat. As Blacks is retired, he's crashed out. Look, on the minimap. The dot is stationary next to the safety car. What's the bet? He crashed into it. Through turn 2. What's the bet he actually hit the safety car? He is out of the race. We're down to 14. An incident that brought out the safety car. We've had an incident with the safety car. Involving the safety car. Oh no. Oh, you can see some games being played. Some drivers ducking off to the left. Oh, I might pit for an extra. Oh, that's going to be pinged by the stewards, I think. I think that was too late from what I saw. Axis ducking into pit lane. He'll be moving on to a set of mediums. Yeah, no, we might need an onboard of that one, Sonny. There are rules when it comes to the pit lane white line entry. The head steward made very clear at the beginning of this racing week. That was close. If he pulled up before the bollard, I think it'd be fine. But yeah, from that outboard shot, it looked very iffy. Well, hang on, is the bollard still there? Yes, the bollard's still there. So I think he might have got into pit lane before the bollard. Just. That was very late. That was so late. Oh. Alrighty. We're going to have an interesting conclusion to this race. Got drivers on old rubber. They took advantage of the safety car period, the first safety car period, and pitted onto hard tyres. They looked untouchable. They were well out in front of the field, minding their own business. And now, you got drivers like Blockman, Collider's on fresh rubber, Axis is on a set of mediums that haven't been too well used, only 3 laps old. So they'll be alright. I think they'll be alright to the end of the race. We got other drivers on mediums as well. They'll be pushing like crazy. The Rebellion on soft tyres down to 14th. This might just be a very interesting conclusion to this US Grand Prix. Maybe. I'll have to wait and see. Seems like we'll be doing at least one more lap behind the safety car, so let's go through all the details in terms of position changes and whatnot. Mighty Wombat up a place, Nico up 1 as well, Saucy up 6 positions, Underwood up 2. But that doesn't illustrate how much work Underwood has had to do during this race. Pushing his way up through the field, making dicey overtakes. Driving quite well, to be honest. He's in P4 now, with a chance to win. Blockman down only 1 place, but he's holding a few interesting cards right now. He's on fresh tyres, and he showed that he has got pace here at Kota. So he's going to be an interesting driver to keep an eye out for. Hash and P6 up 7 places, looking pretty solid. Collider up 3, Axis up 10, but he's on mediums in P8. Pretty solid. Collider's on fresh tyres as well, forgot to mention. KD involved in a spin at, oh, rather an incident at turn 12 and a spin at turn 9 has recovered to be inside of the top 10. Black Baller behind on medium, fresh medium tyres. Guitar Hero the same as Shizen. Captain Schmeg involved in that incident with KD at turn 12. He's had to recover, but he's now in P13. And remember, top 15 score points here in Race Spec. So everyone who finishes from here on out will score points. And Rebellion, who's been caught up in a fair bit of trouble, including some game glitches, is in P14 on soft tyres. Oh, interesting. That's something I haven't heard before, Lax. Tyres being minus 40 degrees when you rejoin the lobby. Oh, and you didn't hit the safety car, you hit an Alpine. Well, that would more than likely be Rebellion, I would think. Interesting. You see, where the safety car was and where your car was, I thought you might have hit the safety car. Because obviously the safety car is completely indestructible, so... it was Rebellion. Interesting. Interesting. Plenty of incidents then over the course of this race. Gee whiz. Plenty of random stuff going on. Now it's time for the final stage of the event. Yeah, interesting. Around the final corner. And onto the main straightaway. It's lap 18 of 28. It's 11 laps to go. Running wide is the Ferrari of Hash. Running awfully wide there. Costing himself and everyone else behind him time. Here comes Axis. Down the inside of Collider at turn 1. Can he get the move done? Not quite. Collider on the outside. He has traction. But Axis on the medium tyre has grip. Oh! He cuts off Axis after cutting all of turn 2. He lost control of the car, had to open up the steering as Hash cuts turn 6. But yeah, Collider had to open up the steering to try and save the car and inadvertently cut Axis off. Through turn 9, over the crest and around turn 10, Collider closing in. Can he try and get by the Ferrari here at the hairpin? Not quite. Rebellion on the attack. Down the inside here of Captain Schmeg, it's tight. But they both get through. Down the back straight away. Towards turn 12. Collider not having the straight line speed to attack the Ferrari. Axis not close enough to attack either. It's got a train of cars not doing anything here in the midfield. Just waiting for DRS to be turned on or for another opportunity to rise. If Collider's got to run. Oh, I would have sent it down the inside there. Nico! Nico! What's happened to Nico? He's spun at the exit of turn 15. No damage from what I can see on the AlphaTauri, but he's now down to 9th. Make that 10th place. Oh! Guitar Hero wants to get involved as well. How did Nico hang on to 9th? I thought Black Baller would have chewed him up. No, Nico hangs on to 9th. Well done, Nico, in achieving that. Guitar Hero, Rebellion. No pass there. Collider getting by Hash. Here comes Axis down the inside. Sends it indeed. Gets in front of the Ferrari. There's KD. He wants to get involved. Around turn 2 we go. Black Buller's overtaking Captain Schmeg. That's for P10. Through the S's we go. Around turn 4. Into turn 5. Through turn 6. Everyone's minding their own bit. Running wide though is Hash. Closing in is KD. Around turn 8 now. Heading up the hill towards turn 9. Oh, just behind Nico. He wants to get a move on. The KD isn't going to be an easy customer to pass. Around turn 11, the tight left-hand hairpin. Now heading down the back straight away, Guitar Hero overtakes Rebellion. Rebellion tries to fight back. And there's Captain Schmeg right at the front of this. Battling along. Rebellion with the straight line speed is able to get in front. And Captain Schmeg has got nothing. He slots back into 13th. Guitar Hero. Oh, big send though at turn 12. Didn't see. Running wide. It's Nico battling in front as they go through turn 15. Contact, more contact between KD and Nico as they head through turn 14. Around turn 15. Look at Captain Schmeg down the inside. Contact spinning his Hash. He spins around thanks to Captain Schmeg as Rafa leaves the session. Nico looking round the outside of KD here at the triple right-hander. KD tries to fight, heading towards the penultimate turn. They're side by side through the left-hander, up towards the final corner. Nico sends it in deep, but KD fights around the outside. Down the main straightaway we go. Guitar Hero's going to get involved. Down the main straight towards turn 1. Guitar Hero's in front of KD. Axis has overtaken Collider. There's a battle on, a massive battle here between these fellas. They're giving it everything. My goodness. There was dive bombs and incidents galore there at turns 13 and 15. My goodness. My head's well and truly scrambled from all of that. That was insane. Oh, meanwhile, Wombat's driven away. He's got 2.1 seconds over Saucy, and Blockman hasn't really made the gains I thought he would have made on those hard tyres. He's stuck behind Underwood, unable to find a way by. He's closing in though, and here he comes. Draws alongside and gets in front of the Ferrari. He's into P3. Underwood tries to fight around the long way. Can't get it done there. His next target will be Saucy in P2. Captain Schmeg, Black Baller side by side. Out of turn 12 now, heading towards turn 13. Guitar Hero, KD runs wide again. Dives it in deep. Gets in front of the Aston Martin. KD back to 12th. Guitar Hero, can he fight back? The answer is no. Stays behind. It's a nice run though on the exit, but he has nowhere to go to try and capitalise on that run. My goodness. Captain Shake, he was right at the back of this train. He's now pretty much at the front of it. Down the main straightaway. Black Baller closing in. Won't close in by enough to attack here into turn 1, but he will gain time nonetheless. Oh! I said that, but he got awfully close to hitting Captain Schmeg there. And there's Nico just behind. He's going to take a fairly decent sized points blow if he can't get a move on. Down in P10, his championship rival is leading this race. So Nico needs to make up as many positions as possible with the laps remaining. Probably ideally needs a safety car to come out. Oh, running wide there is Nico. And here comes KD to take P10 away from the championship leader. Nico, can he fight back? No is the answer. Stays behind. Blockman overtaking Saucy as well. Down the inside of turn 12. Blockman's into P2. Now he'll have his sights set on the race leader as Underwood gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Around turn 15. The gap. 2.4 seconds. One man's got a lot of work to do. See if he can pull it off though. And Schmeg's still at the front of this train. Nico's overtaking KD back for 10th. See KD, he's got flashing red lights at the back of the car. He's got less than 10% battery. Up towards turn 19. Down into turn 20. Nico, yeah, it's going to be tough for him to move up. He needs to be very aggressive. And go for every opportunity available to him. Black Baller close, but not close enough. Deep under brakes again, but can't attack the Williams there into turn 1. There's Nico, just behind. A bit of lifting there from Black Baller. Looks like confident enough to carry full throttle through turn 2, it would seem. Either that or it's just an audio glitch. To be honest, it's probably the latter, knowing this game. Around turn 8, around turn 9, Nico's closed in by a fair chunk. Down towards turn 11, you can see the Mercedes stretching away, suggesting that Black Baller got some pretty decent straight line speed in that Mercedes, but look at Nico's traction out of the corner. And Black Baller just lets him go, it seems. Well, not quite. Black Baller fights back. I'm not quite sure what that was then between Black Baller and Nico. KD's overtaken by Guitar Hero. KD goes in really deep though at turn 12 to try and get the position back. KD not making any friends today, it would seem. He's going for every move. available to him. Guitar Hero gets a penalty as he's trying to still fight KD for P11 on track. Oh, he almost loses control of the car, but he managed to save it at the exit of the hairpin. Starting to lose my voice now. There's been so much going on. Blockman, 2.3 seconds behind Mighty Wombat. He has not closed in, but those hard tyres on Wombat's car are going to be falling off shortly. Blockman will come into his own. It's going to be an interesting conclusion to this race. Everyone else seems to be pretty well spread out now at this point. Black Baller trying to keep within that 1 second range of Captain Schmeg. He's just scrapped outside of it now, and Nico's on the back of him. Exiting turn 7, heading around turn 8. Nico, can he find a way by? Over the crest, around turn 10, down towards the hairpin of 11. Down they go, third gear on the exit. Oh, look at the lack of traction Black Baller has as Underwood is overtaken by Axis. That is at turn 12. So Axis into P4. Nico overtaking Black Baller down the straightaway into turn 12. KD looking down the inside here. Sends it in deep and gets in front. KD into 10th. Guitar Hero trying to find a way by. Can't get it done. Heading into turn 13. Is there an opportunity perhaps at turn 15? He can send it in here if he wants to, but he elects not to. Stays behind the Mercedes. Around the triple right-hander. You can see those, or rather hear, those big lifts heading around the corner as Captain Schmeg gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. See, now he has 6 seconds next to his name. Black Baller under a bit of pressure from the Aston Martin, who is now drawing alongside and is getting by heading into turn 1. Black Baller can't fight back. Can't get the over-under either. The Guitar Hero into P11. Hash, a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. He now increases his total to 6 seconds. Oh, a bit of a moment there from KD at the exit of turn 6. Lost control briefly, but he managed to snap the car back into it. Oh, hello. Nico was very wide there at turn 9. Yeah, KD managed to snap the car back in the right direction, stop it from spinning out. And he's got DRS here on Nico. Nico doesn't have any just yet. Needs to close in on Captain Schmeg in P8. Underwood, meanwhile, still trying to keep within a second of Axis. Although he can't battle Axis thanks to the penalty next to his name, his main priority will be keeping Collider at bay in P6. They're both on the same time penalty. Both drivers on 3 seconds each. So that'll be Underwood's priority, I think, at this stage. 4 laps to go. Yellow flags are out. It's a Alpine. It's Rebellion making a mistake, and he's down to 11th place at the long sweeper in the final sector. Stays out. He's on the soft tyre. They've probably seen better days at this point. KD under pressure from Guitar Hero. Down the main straightaway towards turn 1. Down the inside looks the Aston Martin. KD breaks deep. Very deep. The Guitar Hero, he's got traction on the exit, keeping this fight alive as they head around turn 2. But KD, with the inside line, is able to stay in front and keep P9. Through the S's they go, around turn 6, up towards turn 7. Hash, new fastest lap with a 36.7, so he scores that extra point for himself and Ferrari. Down towards turn 11. Guitar Hero, he'll get DRS, KD won't have any. Nico now has DRS on Captain Schmeg, so he'll be closing in on the Williams driver. And I think that's the best they can hope for, is P7. Because the gap to the car in front after Captain Schmeg is 11 seconds. It's a big gap. Guitar Hero re-overtakes KD. KD back down to 10th place. Can the McLaren driver fight back through this final sector? Doesn't look like it at this stage. Has to stay in P10. Axis closing in on third place Saucy, so the battle's on for the final podium spot. But Mighty Wombat, driving out of his skin on those older tyres, is building a margin. Not just maintaining a margin, he's building one to Blockman. Blockman hasn't had a response to the race leader. He's stuck in P2, which is still a huge result for himself and Haas. Well, not a great run through the S's, but he keeps it within the white lines. He'll definitely take second, but I think there was an opportunity to try and win with those fresh tyres. But evidently, those old hard tyres have still got pace. Still got decent pace. And Underwood in the background, Collider closing in P6. Axis, he'll have DRS down there straight away. He'll close in on the Red Bull bit by bit thanks to the DRS. Closing in by a great deal though as they head into turn 12. Now the gap shrinks to 4/10 of a second. Heading up towards turns 13 and 14. The gap shrinking some more. Not close enough to have a go here at turn 15. Nice and tidy on the exit as well. He heads around the triple right-hander. Up towards turn 18. On the brakes, brings it down to 5th gear. Underwood, another penalty. That's going to hurt him. He's going to drop another position. Collider only has 3 seconds next to his name. Oh, running wide is Underwood there at the final corner. Running very wide. Axis close. Oh, very close, but not close enough to try and make a move on the Red Bull just yet. He's going to try and set up a move with the laps remaining. That's for sure. Through the S's. Around turn 7, up towards turns 8 and 9. Axis maintaining half a second gap to Saucy. Saucy able to pull away just a little bit at the exit of turn 9 as Hash now has 9 seconds worth of penalties. Around turn 11. Can Axis set something up here? Using a little bit of battery, he opens DRS. Closes in, a black ball overtakes Rebellion for P11. Here comes Axis down the inside. Saucy doesn't fight this one. Maybe Saucy has an opportunity on the final lap to try and retake third as Collider and Underwood battle. Yellows are out. It is Rebellion spinning at the exit of turn 9. He gets going again. He's down in 12th place. Axis, he's pulling away from Saucy. Don't know why it's stuck around with that camera for so long. These medium tyres still got pace. He's built up 6/10 to Saucy. Now the Red Bull will gain on this straight away thanks to DRS. He's losing time at corner exit thanks to his old hard tyres. He's unable to battle Axis. I think Axis has cemented himself in 3rd place right here. I don't think he'll be able to attack Blockman unless he makes a mistake. Shizen's overtaken Rebellion as well. Rebellion has made a mistake again, this time at turn 15, down to P14 now. Out in front though, Mighty Wombat. Driving a fine race. Yellows are out, it's Axis! Axis has made a mistake through the S's. No puncture, it was a genuine mistake. It looked like a podium finish. But he's now down in 6th position. He'll recover another place, thanks to Underwood, but he needs to close in by a few tenths to overtake Collider as Rebellion retires in pit lane. Mighty Wombat though has driven superbly. Put it on the front row in qualifying, only being beaten by his teammate. And after that, he has put together a hell of a drive, a faultless drive. He makes his way around the penultimate turn and up towards the final corner. Mighty Wombat will win at home. He'll take victory and win the United States Grand Prix. Blockman in second. Saucy will complete the podium in third. Axis, will he finish in fourth? That is the question. The answer is no. He misses out on fourth. He finishes in fifth. Collider will take fourth place for himself. Underwood P6. Captain Schmeg crosses the line in seventh. He will not keep it. Nico finishes in seventh. Guitar Hero in eighth. Schmeg in ninth. KD, what can only be described as a shocking race, finishes in 10th. Black Baller 11th. And followed by Shizant and Hash. Not surprising, Rebellion, considering how long you went out there on the soft tyre. Not surprising that you did get a puncture at the end though. So there we are. Axis given driver of the day. Well, I would have agreed. If it went for a spin, it would have been a really mega performance. But still, to come back from the back of the field to finish in P5 is a hell of an effort. Imagine if he finished on the podium. That'd be quite something. But he made a mistake through the S's. Down the corridor of celebration, Mighty Wombat has driven a superb race. Has taken victory here at Circuit of the Americas. Blockman will end up finishing P2, and Saucy will complete the podium places for Red Bull. So, the unofficial results of the United States Grand Prix. Mighty Wombat is your race winner by 3.5 seconds to Blockman in P2, with Saucy completing the podium places in third. Collider made his way up from 10th to finish 4th. Driver of the day, Axis, started last, finished 5th. Could have been a podium, but at the end of the day, the top 5 result is still a pretty solid one. Indeed, Underwood P6, Nico 7th, followed by Guitar Hero, Captain Schmeg, and KD 1997 rounding out the top 10. Black Baller P11, followed by Shizant, Hash, and Rebellion, our final classified finisher in P14. Retirements Blacks, Rafa, Motion God, and JBH. With that result, Mighty Wombat will take the lead of the Drivers' Championship away from Nico, a man who has led the championship since the very beginning. But the form that Mighty Wombat has, he has put himself into championship contention and will take the championship lead heading into the next round. Other championship contenders like JVH and Axis not having the most solid of races, and defending champion of this series, KD, he wanted this race to be the swing that he needed to try and regather his championship hopes. Qualifying went his way for sure, but the race, my goodness, complete opposite in the race. It's still double points haul for McLaren. They'll be happy with that, and they'll probably extend their lead in the Constructors' Championship as well. But what a race we had this week for the Americas Series. Plenty of drama, plenty of action, plenty of drivers just giving it some. They were really pushing for position. It was quite interesting to see. We had plenty of drama, probably a few words being said in the Discord after this one, I imagine. No, it'll be interesting to see what comes out of this week heading into next week. But with the race finally over, it's time for us to end the stream. I've been LaneEveringham. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next week for round 10 of the championship at Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez for the Mexican Grand Prix. Should be quite interesting next week. But until then, it's goodbye.